Hello, beautiful humans, and welcome back to podcast number 62 with Unstuck and Friggin' Fabulous, the podcast for ambitious women ready to ditch doubt, get out of their own way, and create a life that feels bold, beautiful, and fully aligned. I am your host, Irene Lidvall, confidence and mindset coach. And today, I would like to talk to you about something that every single one of us thinks about at some point in our lives. And that is, what does make a good life? Not a busy life, not a perfect life, not a successful looking life on Instagram, but a deeply fulfilling life. A life where you feel proud of who you have become. A life where you feel connected, alive, peaceful, and true to yourself. And today we are going to dive into the 4 most common regrets people carry at the end of their lives. Because here's what fascinates me. Most people don't regret the things they thought they would. They don't usually regret not having a bigger house or answering more emails or working harder every weekend. What they regret is much more human than that. And I'm sure you can guess what it is. And these regrets stay with people for decades because they usually involve lost time, ignore intuition when you don't listen to your gut feeling, fear of failure, fear of success, love not expressed, dreams abandoned, or becoming someone they never truly were. So today's episode is about waking up before it's too late. Not in a fearful way, I don't want to scare you here, but in an empowering way. Because if we understand what creates regrets, we can change the directions of our lives right now. And honestly, that is one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves. So, let's begin. What actually does make a good life? I think most people spend years chasing a life they were taught to want. Like, having the title, the job, the relationship, the status, the image, simply keeping up with the Joneses. And sometimes we will wake up and one day we realize I built a life that looks good, but doesn't feel good. That is one of the loneliest feelings in the world. Because deep down, we all want the same thing. And you know what that is. Connection with other people, feeling that you belong, having purpose, having meaning, having freedom and love and peace within ourselves. A good life is not built from perfection. It's built from alignment. It's when your outer life actually matches your inner truth. And that, my darling, requires courage. Because living truthfully often means disappointing people, changing direction, starting again, speaking honestly, and leaving what no longer fits. It's all scary things, isn't it? But, if you want to be happy, you have to make yourself happy first. And many people, they avoid all of that because fear feels safer than change. Now take that on board. But here's the problem. Avoidance creates regret every single time. A good life is not measured by how impressive it looks to strangers, even though a lot of people think it does, keeping up with the Joneses. But it's measured by how deeply you loved, how honestly you lived, how connected you felt to yourself, and whatever you became, who you truly were. I truly believe that. And I also believe this. Most regrets is born from self-abandonment. Because the moment we ignore our truth to keep other people comfortable, we slowly lose ourselves. And trust me, it does not happen overnight. It is a slow process. It's like peeling an onion, layer by layer. And the longer we do that, the heavier life feels. So, why is it that regrets last so long? Now, before we get into the 4 major regrets, I want to explain why regrets hurt so much. So, because regrets is different from failure. Failure can teach us something. Failure can even strengthen us. But regrets usually sounds like, I knew, I felt it, I wanted to, but I didn't. That's why it lingers. Because it's actually is pointing right back at us. Because deep down, people often know when they are betraying themselves. And that is one of the biggest betrayal ever. They know when they are staying too small. They know when they are settling. And they know when fear is making their decisions. And years later, the truth still whispers. Regret lasts because the soul remembers what was possible, what could have been. And I don't say that to make anyone feel bad. I say it because awareness creates freedom. If you can recognize yourself in these regrets now, you still have time to change your story. So here goes. Regret number 1. I wish I had the courage to live as myself. This is one of the biggest regrets people carry. Not living as themselves. Instead, they lived according to expectations. F that. Fear, for approval, for tradition, or survival mood. So many people spend decades becoming who they think they should be. They should be the good daughter, the perfect mother, the successful business person, the people pleaser, the strong one, the responsible one, the one that always take care of others. But somewhere along the way, they lose touch with who they actually are. This regret hurts deeply because authenticity is connected to aliveness. When you suppress yourself long enough, you will notice that your energy level drops and your confidence slowly but surely disappears and your joy fades away and life starts to feel really heavy. You feel like in a hamster wheel, and who are you? You can have success and still feel emotionally disconnected from yourself. And here's the thing most people don't realize. You do not become fulfilled by being accepted by everyone. You actually become fulfilled by accepting yourself. But you knew that. We all know that. And still we don't do it. But it changes everything. So what do we do about this regret? I want you to start asking yourself, what do I actually want? And what feels true for me? And what part of myself have I abandoned? Hoo-hoo, scary, eh? And also, what am I pretending not to know? I want you to start small. You don't need to blow up your whole life today or tomorrow or anytime really, but start to do simple, little, small changes. And by doing things like speaking up, changing your careers if you're in a career that you don't love, and finally starting that business that you've been thinking about, and maybe wearing what you love and not keeping it for special occasion. Maybe it's leaving a relationship, or maybe it is going for that relationship, or maybe it's becoming visible again. Every act of authenticity rebuilds self-trust, and self-trust changes your entire life. Entire life. So who can do that? Only you can do that. So here is regret number 2. It's the moment we ignore our truth to keep other people comfortable. We slowly lose ourselves. And the longer we do that, the heavier it feels. And, we also say that I wish I hadn't let fear make my decisions. Fear is one of the greatest dream killers in the world. And the sad part is, fear rarely disappears first. Most people wait to feel confident before actually taking action. But confidence comes after action, not before it. I've said this many times before. And, people do regret not starting, not trying, not speaking up, not creating, not taking that risk, and not believing in themselves. And years later they say, what if I just gone for it? I have worked with so many women who thought their lives were basically over at 40, 50, 60 or beyond. And then they finally gave themselves permission to begin again. New business, new love, new confidence, new purpose. And you know what? I think that the universe looks after us when we take action, and when we do look after us and start changing. Because very often they say, I wasted so many years believing I was too old, too late, or not good enough. I don't know anyone that says, oh no, I wish I hadn't. Because you know what? Fear creates a prison when we obey fear blindly. Now, fear in itself is not the enemy. But fear is quite normal. Fear means that you are stepping into growth, and you do it anyhow. The real danger is building your entire life around avoiding discomfort, because avoidance shrinks your world. Courage expands it. So even if you're scared like shit, do it anyhow, because you will feel so proud of yourself if you do. So what do we do about this regret? We stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what if this changes my life? What if this actually works? What if I'm more capable than I think? And honestly, one of the most powerful things you can do is realize this. The people who create extraordinary lives are not fearless. They are just as scared as you, but they simply stopped worshipping fear. And I want that for you to stop being afraid. Just do it anyhow. And here is regret number 3. I wish I'd spent more time with people I love. This one breaks my heart because almost everyone understands it too late. We think we have more time. We think, okay, I call later, or I visit next month, or I slow down one day, or I do it tomorrow. And suddenly years pass. Life becomes routines and responsibilities and distractions. Meanwhile, the moments that truly matter are slipping away quietly. And at the end of life, people rarely wish they spent more time working. They wish they had laughed more, hugged longer, been more present, listened properly, and told people they love them. because connection is one of the greatest predictors of happiness and emotional well-being. Not achievement, not money, not status, but connection. Real human connection. And you know what? I know this for my partner, Kevin. He's said, "Oh, I need to go and see my mother's sister in Tasmania," year after year after year. And he still hasn't gone down to see her. And I know one day he is going to regret it. And there are some of his veteran friends that he was going to call and he never called them. I'm not blaming him. He's just human. And I'm the same. I'm the same. And I remember one of my best girlfriends that I hardly ever saw because she was working in Italy and I was bumming around in the world. But we used to connect like every 2 years or something, and time just stood still and we connected, boom, like that. It was like nothing had happened. And one day I was wondering, I wonder why I haven't heard back from her. And I tried to call her. Her phone was disconnected. And I sent her an email and it bounced back. And I tried to reach her mother, and that phone number was also disconnected. And then I Googled her. And I tell you guys, this was awful because what I got, what was her eulogy. She had passed away, unbeknown to me, and we never got time to say goodbye. I didn't even know that she was sick. But apparently she died from an ulcer, a bleeding ulcer, and she bled out. And I just so regret because I remember the last time I spoke to her, she said, "Oh, Irene, please come down to Italy and visit me." And I just didn't have the time. I wish now I would have taken that time. So it was a real wake-up call for me. And here's another truth, my friend. You can be surrounded by people and still feel deeply lonely if you are emotionally disconnected. Because, like I had with Maria, presence mattered to us, attention mattered to us, and we loved each other, as human beings. And so, what do we do with this regret when we don't have that? When we stop postponing love, when we stop sending the message, make the call, take the trip, it's just do it. Just do. Send the message, for crying out loud, and make the call, take the trip, be fully present at dinner, put down the phone, tell people what they mean to you while they're still here. Because eventually there comes a moment, like it did for me, when we would give anything for one more conversation. And nobody ever regrets loving too deeply. So think about that. And I can tell you, Maria was not the only one. I have another friend, Denise, in New York. She also passed away without me knowing that she was gone. But thank God we did hook up before it was too late. So I don't feel that bad about it because we had a wonderful meeting up here in Brisbane, actually. She came on a cruise ship from America and I drove up and picked her up and we spent the day together. And unfortunately, she had terrible emphysema from September 11. And I knew that she was not well, but I didn't know she was that sick. But you never know. You never know. So here is regret number 4. I wish I had enjoyed my life more. This one surprises many people because so many people delay joy. They postpone living. Okay, I will relax when, and I will be happy when, and I will enjoy life after the promotion, after the kids have grown up, after the debt is gone, and after the perfect relationship arrives. But life is happening right now, my friend, not later. And many people become so focused on surviving that they forget how to actually live. They stop dancing, laughing, creating, playing, traveling, trying new things, feeling wonder. And years later, they realize, I was alive, but I wasn't truly living. I don't want that to happen to you. Joy is not irresponsible. Joy is medicine. And no, 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 no. This doesn't mean life is easy all the time. No, 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 no. Life goes up and down like a roller coaster. We all experience pain, loss, and heartbreak and struggle. But even within hard seasons, let's call it that, there can still be moments of beauty. You know, just look out the window, watch the sunrise, listen to your favorite music, and cultivate your friendship. Ocean air, or mountain air, or deep conversation, or a new beginning. Sometimes we miss life because we are too busy preparing for it. So, what do we do about this regret? We stop waiting for permission to enjoy our lives. We create moments now, not when everything is perfect, because perfection is not the requirement for joy. Presence is. And my mom, she used to say, if nobody is perfect, then I'm nobody. So take that on board. So why does people ignore their inner voice? I think one of the saddest thing is how disconnected many people become from themselves. Most people were never taught to trust their intuition, their gut feeling. They were taught to perform like Pavlov's dog. Please, fit in and survive. So they silence their own knowing. But your inner voice never fully disappears. It whispers through. It whispers through exhaustions, resentments, anxiety, longing, jealousy, frustration, and dreams that won't leave you alone. Sometimes the life you want keeps calling you because it's meant for you. So listen to it. And the longer you ignore yourself, the louder the discomfort becomes. I know that for sure. The discomfort is not punishment, it's guidance. So, what a good life really looks like? I think a good life looks like being able to be yourself, feeling emotionally free, having meaningful relationships, and doing work that feels aligned and growing constantly. That includes the fear, and sleeping peacefully at night, knowing you were honest with yourself and your life. Not perfect. I'm not saying life should be perfect, because if it was, it wouldn't be joyful, because it should be 50-50, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't realize how good it was. So just be honest. A good life is not built overnight. It's built through daily choices, tiny brave moments, tiny honest moments, and tiny acts of self-respect, respected over time. And honestly, one of the most powerful questions you can ask yourself is this: if I continue living exactly like this for the next 5 years, would I feel proud or would I feel regretful? So the question can change everything. So today I want you to remember this. You are not too old. You are not too late. You are not disqualified from creating a meaningful life at all. But do you need courage? Because the life you truly want usually exists on the other side of honesty and fear. And maybe the goal isn't to avoid all regret completely. Maybe the goal is to stop abandoning yourself, to stop waiting, to stop shrinking, to stop postponing your own life. Because one day all of us will look back and we will ask, did I really live? And I hope your answer is yes. And thank you so much for being here with me today. In this episode, we spoke about a lot, and if it spoke to you, share it with someone who needs this reminder. And remember, your life is happening now, not later. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next episode. Have a wonderful weekend.